Hello there again. It's me, and my name is Al, and this here video should be part of a C++ bit, I think, rotating from one project to another. The last one was on virtual dub technique. This time, I'm going to be talking about another kind of technique, and this may be useful for those of you who have had, perhaps in the past, had some difficulty using a third-party library. And that situation has come up here in the context of my start menu or user assist thing. You can see that I modified these icons using a different function. And I hadn't noticed until I was watching the last video that one of these things was coming up with a funny glib thing here instead of a path. And that turned out to be this one. And this here was coming out, wasn't giving the correct path. It did say services.msc, and that was simply because I was ignoring anything that wasn't an exe in terms of the path over my decrypt function went. Is that this one in here somewhere? Decrypt string. Yeah, now previously I had just, if it's not ending with .exe, then return just the rotated part, I guess. Or has it already been rotated? Just return this string and don't do anything. Let's see, what did I have exactly? Yeah. Checking if it's an exe and if it exists. If neither of those are true, or if both of those are true, then I extract the icon. Let's switch this with the icon. Here's a decrypt. Okay. If tail equals exe, sorry, it's not that, return a rotated string, just as I thought. Here is the rotated string. Well, MSC is a type of program, as you know. It's not a .msc file. Is something that you can double click on and something happens. Okay, so let's not say that it's executable. However, it happens to appear in this list, and these are all things that at the command line are accepted as something that the operating system can deal with and decode and figure out how to run. So services, if I do that, it's going to run the services control panel applet in time. First, it's got to bring up this question, and then it'll run the thing. Okay, well, if that ever does come up, you will notice that down here, if it does come up, all right, there's a funny icon here. which is not this icon, strangely enough. So here's another case where we have a program whose icon is not indicated in the same manner as it is here. Other notable examples I will simply ignore. You will notice though that it does have that icon here. Well, the reason that that icon shows up in this list is because I'm grabbing it from this window, right? This thing goes through Windows. But in this list, the same thing, services.msc, I don't have an icon. So why? Why don't I have an icon? Why doesn't this come up with an icon? Well, there's where it is. Let me just make a copy of it. I should make a thing. Would this work? Well, but there is no thing for System 32, is there? There's winter. So there must be something. Sorry. Well, I can grab it at a comms spec, but there must be something that says just no, I guess not. Copy, but this should work in fact. When system root. Oh, you can't tab on that. So that did work. And there it is. It looks like a pretty big file, right? And if I, no, this is the path where I'm at. I can use my fancy thing. I take Explorer, then that opens Explorer where I am. It's a very handy tool. So you'll notice there then that there's definitely an icon associated with this thing, so it must be programmed, right? Well, it's in the exact list. It's window gets a thing like that. Explorer's got to use an icon, but as you'll see, all it is a text file, and you may recognize this format. This is a XML file. It's simply an XML file. XML standing for Extensible Markup Language. Here, version 1.0. I've got this on Word Graph. Let me turn that on. Now, I used to have a class for dealing with XML files. This is not the. I don't believe this is the icon that we're seeing. It could be, but I doubt it. This here language or format, text format, is like an ini file, but better than an ini file, because it has things like directories, right, and nodes and subnodes, and so an ini file is typically a flat thing with sections, right, and then you don't have, it's difficult to make subsections and so on and so forth. Okay, now I'm pretty sure that the actual icon here is here, file MGMT DLL, index 0, index 1 for small. Now that could be true or it might not be true. I'm going to see. Now how did it put me here? Sometimes this thing frightens me. System 32. File. Yeah. What was the last thing I opened? Now there are 4 icons in here, right? If I'm going to trust this index would be the first icon in this file, and I don't know what binary ref index is, but let's see. Let's just see what they are. I'm guessing it's this one. It's not. No, it's definitely the first one. Okay, but that's not a small icon. Okay, well those are familiar icons. But this ought to have a small version, right? Even if you can't see it. This here, if I extracted this, I could extract it. Export to wherever we are. That is where we are. Tutorial CPP. Yeah, okay. Let's close this. Don't want to damage anything. Go away. Go away. Okay. Okay, there it is. Now I can run this with GIMP, and GIMP should show me if it is an icon. Well, it is an icon. It'll show me how many images there are and so on. Now these icons, as I mentioned before, there are small icons and big icons, and the reason why this thing doesn't look as bad as it did last time is I'm extracting the small icons now, if I can. So these are nice and smooth now. See? This here is not the icon, the medium-sized icon for this program isn't a pencil, it's like a pen. I did it that way on purpose just so I could see if that works. Okay, if you find, where is that now? User app. Okay. User PM. You'll see that this program, Notepad Cube, although in a large icon view it's this icon, and if you look at it in the small icon view, details, say, it gives you that icon. See, they're not the same. If I make this, I can. If I could make this small enough, it would change into that pencil thing. I need this one. Now there's a point to all this. If GIMP would ever... Oh no. Okay. I thought that was me. So as you can see, can I zoom in? Zoom in with the plus. So I don't want that tool, so like this. It looks like a paintbrush. I don't want to paint on it really. Tool. How do I change my tool? Okay, I'll just be careful. That's definitely looks like the icon. Right? Here's its real size. I don't know why it's organized in this funny manner. 48 by 134. I don't think GIMP is drawing it correctly. I think if you divide that by 2, that's 48 times 2, right? It's 134. No, 96. Okay, it could be. So it's 3. That's 3 of these. No, that's 144. Well, I'm not sure exactly, but I don't think that they're all supposed to be bunched up there. But what do I know? Yeah, you can hide these and show them. Some of them look speckly. I want to hide them. There. There you go. Get rid of the speckly ones, and you can see what it looks like. It's drawing them in a backwards order. There, and if I could get rid of that selection thing, you'd see it looks like those gears. Alright, don't want to save. Get rid of that. So, as far as this here, it appears as though all one has to do is extract the first icon, the index 0 indicated here, from the file indicated here, under visual attributes, icon. I guess, is that right? Yes, just icon, the icon section, and so on and so forth. Now, I used to have code to deal with these XML files. It's not maybe not that hard to parse them, but I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. And I went looking, and I found my old code for that. It's quite simple. The code. And the whole directory here. Now it kind of works like the registry thing. You give this here path is a file name, and then you give a subkey, and then you can extract things by calling this get data with a given key value, and it'll return you a string. Maybe there's not enough in here. There should be more because the keys themselves will also have that extra information in them. But in any case, I can't use this, and the reason I can't use this thing is because it uses a third-party lib, and I no longer have it. Let's see now, where's this is the CPP file. Here, okay. I didn't write this function, XML parser create, okay? And these functions, I didn't write these. I'm just using them And this is the way they explain how you're supposed to use it. Is you call this parse function, and what it does is it calls back. You give it some callback functions in it. These handlers here, element handler, and it calls the callbacks for you. So here's one of my callbacks. You can pass a user thing. So just like in Windows where you pass a this pointer, right, to a dialogue, for when a dialogue's running, you can pass a user data thing, which here it's a type of this pointer. It's a pointer for one of these things. And I'm checking eventually to see if I found the sub key that I'm interested in. And it tells you when an element starts and when an element ends, and so that everything's nicely bracketed and so on. And this really, there's hardly any code here. If only I had that lib. Well, I remember where I got that lib. So I found it online, and I downloaded it, and then I copied it, and as usual, I compile. If you don't do anything, it compiles almost the first time. This here, XPath, is actually code written by a guy living in Thailand, believe it or not. And this was all set up for Visual Studio 6. So I had to convert it to Visual Studio 8. And then I had to go through and find out all the things that were wrong and fix all the wrong things and get it compiling at a nice high warning level. For two reasons. One, it was only set up to make a DLL version of the library, and I don't want that. I want a static library in my case. And in fact, I've already did that years ago. And here it is. Here's the part. It's all C. There's no C++ in here at all. So that makes it twice as hard to have it compile quietly under warning level 4, and even worse, I put on the optional warnings. That's not hard to deal with. See, now it's made up actually of only two parts, two libs. This is I guess a tokenizing thing. I don't know how it works, but you can see that there's a lot of work went into all of this. Here's a file that is number included several times in different places, so it does different. It works slightly differently depending on where it's being compiled. It handles UTF-8. It would do Unicode, but I don't have that problem. I'm sure that file's not Unicode. No, it's probably UTF-8 or text. It's just ANSI. But you can do, sometimes you can do Unicode. Or UTF-8, sorry. UTF-8, I think it's more standard. Not needed in this case. Now, this is the code I don't want to write. And I don't think I probably wouldn't write it this way anyway, but It's worked before, and I trust that it's going to work again. So there's just this. I don't know if it's of any use to anyone, but what I could do is I could start all over again and show you how I took this version 6 source and converted it to what it is now. You have to be careful with these things that people write. This is maintained solely by one guy living in Thailand. I think I even met him actually. I don't know if he's still around. I don't know where his name is. Here. Anyway. It should say here what his name is. Yeah, it's Thai open source software. Where's his name? Oh, James Clark. Okay, James Clark. Yeah, it's just this James Clark guy. I don't think there's any more to the Thai open source software limited company than James here. And I think he was teaching there, I can't remember. I think he was teaching in a university, some technical thing. So I just downloaded it, and it compiled perfectly. And I thought I was like halfway there, and I had it almost all going. And then I had to start all over from scratch because I didn't realize. And you gotta be careful with other people's code. That there were files. I mean, this had more in it than there is now. But those files were actually in other directories. So some of the files were being listed in one project and another project. Like this file was listed in this project. And it had a custom build rule. And its build rule was to generate this file, you see? So if you're not careful and you think that, like, I started changing the build configurations and everything just stopped working because there was a custom build rule and everything expected everything to be going to certain directories and having certain names and so on and so forth. Well, this file, this header file, only ever gets generated once, right, per system. So that's done, and once it was generated, I took it out. If I want to generate a new one, I can always compile this program, which I don't need anymore, run it again, and it generates this code. I don't know why I can't generate an ini file or something. I guess that's the way people do these things. It looks to me like these look like bitmaps. It's ones and zeros. Oh, it's not exactly. I don't know. Don't know what it is. Num pages. Num start pages. Naming bitmap. Don't know. It's not important. So now that I have that lib, I can add it. I've compiled a release Win32. Right. I think I need both of these. So release multi-threaded and debug multi-threaded. I don't need any doesn't need any Unicode or anything. Any Unicode build. I'll just use the same one. Except that I have to pass it non-Unicode strings. No big deal, right? It's like the debug help library doesn't like Unicode strings. That's not a problem, right? You can do your conversions later. So I'm going to try to get this working with that other piece of code. Then I'll have XML, and then I can parse a MSC file and get its icon for one thing. But generally speaking, having an XML parser is good for everything. Everything is XML, right? Let me give you an example of an XML file. You don't have to look far. This is probably an XML file. No, this one's not. But I think these project files are. See, XML 1.0. Here's the encoding. So a project file is an XML file. Those MSC things are XML files. Everything is XML files. What else would be an XML file? Something just like the registry is useful for storing and retrieving information. So is XML. And XML is in fact another example that one could use for serializing, just like the registry. You can use XML to save and retrieve text or binary data of any sort. There's a standard way, but you noticed that there was an icon in that file. This here, this way of encoding binary data as text has a special name I've forgotten. But if you run this through a very simple algorithm, it will convert all of these characters back into text, back into a binary thing. See, it says it's binary. I don't know why there'd be so many repeats. But, here, icon small. I wonder what would happen if I could find out how this. If I could remember how this works, I could extract these icons. IQT, and see what they are. It could be a backup, It could be that same icon, right? Binary storage console file. I don't know what that means. Icon lar. I wonder if it's got anything to do with this icon, or the one that appears on the bottom there, Anyway, it's something to look into. So I've already done this bit, but I could do it again, and well, I'll wait to hear from anyone. If anyone wishes to me to do that, I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm just going to continue on, and I'm going to start using my little icon class to extract the MSC icons, and anything else I need XML for, I'll do that. And this code, if you want to try and download it and incorporate it into your own project, is in the page I just showed you. It's called XPAT. So it's got by this guy James Clark. It's been around for ages. It parses XML 1.0 files. He says it's not a validating processor. I don't know what that means. All I know is it works for the kinds of things that come up. The only XML files I ever dealt with, this library could handle no problem. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do next then. That'll be another icon added to my list. So it's starting to look, wrong project. Whoops. It's starting to look like a decent, well, I'm not going to use that dialogue either. I also had to finish making that report style thing. I've been going through and fixing up all of the bugs and things that I introduced by changing the way the registry stuff works. See, that's nice. It makes me sad because that other thing, that report list box with the columns and everything, as great as it is with the columns, hey, oh, I see, that's not where that is. Oh, I see. So I made a mistake there. That must have come out of I took programs to mean program files. Program files, but that's not what it means. Programs clearly means this programs, right? Because that's what this alarm thing is. Startup. That makes it a link file. Ah, I bet a link file is XML. Let's start up. See, here's an alarm program. Now, definitely it is in programs startup. Oh no, but that's a directory. But then that should. No, it's an exe. So really, programs should be. Now where would that be? Start menu? Nothing. I know I've got a start menu. Oh, wait a minute. You have to do exactly. Because that must be a junction. Start up. Okay, I don't know what my real path is. This is clearly a junction. Let's find out what it is. Start menu. Start menu is app data, roaming, Microsoft Windows start menu. So that's where it is. The real path. App data, roaming, Microsoft Windows start menu. And then programs. And here's where it really is. So that's This is what program stands for, this path, right? And that's made up of which environment variables? I think home path, home drive, home path. Roaming is a thing, and then Microsoft Windows. Not sure. I'll have to double check on that. Okay, see you.